Dear Venerable Sir, Dhamma friends, we are going to have the time for our day's Dhamma talk. May everyone settle down for the talk and give the consent with 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tasse bhagavatu arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavatu arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Suriyassa bhikkhave udayato etang pubbangam etang pubbanimittam yadidang arunugang evameva kho bhikkhave sattannam bojjhanganam upadaya etang pubbanimittam etang pubbanimittam yadidang kalyana mittatati. Dear Venerable Dhamma friends, whenever we are to meet in this city, Allenmathiniyaramaya Purana Vihara, and having 1-day retreat, we allocate about 1 hour for the day's Dhamma talk. And so far, we have referred to the same common topic, that is to say, Suriya Sutta, the Buddha declared or preached, and you may find it in the Samyutta Nikaya, the concise sayings in Bojjhanga Vagga. The main topic is 7 factors of enlightenment. So therefore that Vagga or that whole subtopics are basically around 7 factors of enlightenment. And this particular sutta are giving a simile first, and then according to that simile, going to explain what are the decisive factors or conducive factors for these 7 factors of enlightenment. So whenever someone is slowly advancing along this meditation path or this celibate life, there's a kind of a maturity one start to feel about one's own path or one's own progress. So therefore this at the Bojjhanga level, or at the whenever your spiritual faculties are coming up to this Bojjhanga level or come to the factors of enlightenment, is the first time, in fact, the yogi, the practitioner, comes to know what is happening in one's mind. That means, up to Bojjhanga level, you keep on striving through your faith or with some kind of belief that one day my endeavorance will going to have fruits. But still you have not tasted it as such. Still anyway, you are continuing. It's a greatly appreciable character. It is just like an agricultural project. Whenever you are investing on agricultural project, each and every crop need time for maturity. Till that only the investments. But you can see plants are growing without much of pests and the problem, but still not flowering, not fruiting, no products. So likewise in the meditation also, in this endeavorance, you keep on investing, you can see, but the direct product is yet to come. Exactly like that, when you are referring to the 37 factors of enlightenment, you are starting with 4 foundation of mindfulness. So whenever you do 4 foundation of mindfulness, that is simply mindfulness, if I am to reduce to a simple state, hardly any beginner can understand the definition of the mindfulness. Hardly anyone be thorough or confident enough about one's own practice. So therefore it is it is between trying and striving. You do in a luck by chance method, and to strive through, you have to get certain amount of foundation or establishment. It's a highly volatile area. One will keep on doing, and then it is maturing through understanding or contemplation of your body or corporeality or your physical body as an object. In Pali, as I mentioned in last talks also, kaya means agglomeration. That indicate it is not a unit, it's an agglomeration, or it is not a one person, it is not one entity, it is so much of things come together, agglomerated, and that totality is called kaya or khanda. It's like a mountain, it's rough soil, sand, rocks and everything. Likewise this kaya also, it's an agglomeration, so therefore in meditation what we do is, it's a kind of a reductionist theory. Understanding this totality is known as myself or my body, and don't accept this as one unit or one entity or one being. Try to see its ingredient parts, separate it out, and you can't comprehend as such. So therefore, according to the little bit of mindfulness you have to reduce your kaya or reduce your agglomeration to sizable unit, and then only you can comprehend it. Then only you can grasp it. So that's why when you are sitting, we take as myself. It is limited by your skin. And within that I call in, outside we call out. So when it is happening, you take in as your object of meditation. And by taking in, you like it or not, you are to give up out. Without giving up out, you can't come to the in. So that's a huge amount of generosity. That is why many people can't keep the mind inside, because they don't know how to give up the out. There's so much of attachment. Past, future, other people, other places. So whenever, even for a split second, if you can be with here and now, that's the biggest generous thing you have done ever in this samsara. So much of merits. And this satipatthana or mindfulness continuity asks you to keep this thought moment continuous. That's called momentum, undisturbed, steadfast, established mindfulness. So we are in it. So whenever it happens, we try to keep in the body as much as possible. When and where you become familiar and seasoned with your body, you try to understand what is the most prominent part or most dynamic part in your so-called body. Some people find upper part of the body is with the expansion, contraction, rising and falling, in-breath, out-breath. So they find that upper part is the most dynamic part. Some other people find lower part is the point where touching the ground, you can feel the hardness, stiffness, tension, movements. So whatever may be, once you familiarize with the body in Satipatthana, you take whatever may be conspicuous object, prominent object. So this is the point many people get stuck. They right from the beginning try to search in-breath and out-breath, ultimately end up with desperation. But that may not be his or her due object. So you have to wait till the object manifests, and you take it as a benchmark or reference point or object of meditation, and then you establish the mindfulness. More and more you familiarize mindfulness, or so to say concentration comes, still you can be very, very pinpointed. For example, if you say the upper part of the body and the in-breath and out-breath as your primary object, you say, easily you may understand when the in-breath happens, you have to sacrifice the out-breath. You can't deal with out-breath as far as you are with the in-breath. So as far as you are in out-breath, you are do away with in-breath. So now you take the upper part of the body, and within that in-breath, out-breath, you take in-breath is in face-to-face, out-breath is gone. When the out-breath is face-to-face, in-breath is gone. And once that is established, the beginning of the in-breath, middle of the in-breath, end of the in-breath. As far as you are in the beginning of the in-breath, you have to forget about the middle, end, out-breath, outside world, everything. So your focal point, your energy, more focused to the beginning, and that is naturally gives into the middle, and you are open-minded. Whenever it go to the middle of the breath, you observe it. Now you know you are in the middle of the in-breath, and then end of the out-breath. That is the sharpness. When this is happening, he or she definitely, by the time of that, he or she going to feel that the materiality, what you call the beginning of the in-breath, middle of the in-breath, end of the in-breath, as cold, hot, rubbing sensation, tingling sensation, pressure, hardness, the feelings are going to happen. So then naturally you are learning the language to express your experience of the beginning of the in-breath or middle of the in-breath or end of the in-breath in terms of feelings. So when you are maturing or when you are monitoring it, slowly you will understand each and every feeling is colored by your mind. Likings, dislikings. The hardness arises. The hardness become matter, become a case because you like it or not. Or sometimes softness arises. Or hardness to softness changes. Or movements to stability happen. Stability to movement happen. Or heat to cold happen. When these happening, the coloration of the mind is still behind. You can understand these are elementary characteristics, but nothing you can perceive without giving a due coloration. So you start to feel slowly, mind involvement. And ultimately when that is being familiarized, that is being experienced, you see not only in the in-breath and out-breath in a cross-legged sitting way, when you are in a walking, even if you see something, even if you hear something, let's also start with the materiality, seeing object, seeing I, and seeing happens, and then it is recorded in your brain in terms of feelings or in terms of mental coloration. So you understand the other matters away from the in-breath and out-breath. That is how the Satipatthana become fourfold. Start with the materiality, Kayanupassana, and then go to the feelings, Vedananupassana, and then the mental coloration, Chittanupassana, and other rest of the object that you have left behind in order to take the in-breath now become slowly, circumstantially, object of meditation, and that is how the mindfulness grow in depth and the width. So when it is happening, the Buddha explained that you have to have kind of a 4 kinds of striving in order to keep that up, because you have so much of responsibilities back at home and so much of future planning, past regret, other people, other places. So within that, how to find time? How to find a place? How to find the co-meditators? So you have to strive. So that come under the energy aspect. So at the beginning, mindfulness introduced and then the energy aspect introduced. And that energy is to boost up or to continue or gather the momentum of the very mindfulness you have started in fourfold way, and which is happening. Some people, that's called Satara Sammapadhan Virya, and some people with the midst of all multitasking job, they simply find time because of his or her faith. There's so much of faith, even the pressing demand of the day-to-day activities, some find Chanda Samadhi Padhana Sankhara, Ittipada, whenever time permits, Out of faith, try to be with mindful. Answering all the demands and every kind of. Some people virya, they by exerting energy. Some people with a determination power, chitta. Some people with a quick wit. Wherever it go, when and where possible, Mimamsa, find the people responsible and relevant for that mindfulness, find places, find postures, find places, and use the quick wit or wisdom, appropriate technology, appropriate knowledge. So therefore 4 aspects is called the 4 ways for success. And then only your spiritual faculties are become institutionalized. That's called faith become institutionalized. It is not just faith by looking at the image of the Buddha. Now you have your own faith. How to start mindfulness from as a beginner, wherever it may be no mindfulness, and then how to start. And wherever you have mindfulness, how to improve. And then energy, when and where to apply energy in order to improve the mindfulness without much distraction. So energy aspect. And the mindfulness you learn is in different evolution. The beginner's level, now we're at the faculty level. And therefore mindfulness itself, not like the faith, not like the virya, mindfulness itself is evolving. It's so much so, for a seasoned yogi, sit in a position, sitting position, and within few breaths or few minutes, go to very deep layers of mindfulness. That is how it is evolving. And then, accordingly, you are learning the continuity of mindfulness is the concentration. So you learn how to start mindfulness and how to facilitate the concentration and how to use your then and there knowledge or appropriate knowledge, not to complain but make use the opportunity as much as possible to keep up this mindfulness. That is the wisdom. That is not the wisdom you gain by the book, not the wisdom that you can purchase from the supermarket. According to your circumstances, according to your family background, according to your upbringing, according to your culture, you must know how to maximize these 5 faculties, and then it grow more and more into the 5 powers. The faith becomes so powerful. Even when any catastrophic thing happen in your life, you know all these are temporarily, but my meditation, my continuity of mindfulness, it is my single responsibility. So therefore, whatever the other distractions or facilities having, I must have faith. That faith is a kind of a resolute faith. It is not the superficial faith. It is not a floating kind of faith. That resolute faith, ultimately, you believe your spiritual life, you believe your past history more than Buddha's qualities. Buddha has so much of qualities to inspire, to start or trigger it off. But later you understand Buddha has set the example. Our great teachers have set examples. So it is now my duty. I believe only my experience. I believe only my under-the-nose experience or my mistakes. Then only you are going to understand your mistakes are your teacher. Therefore, whatever the mistakes happen, you never regret because you know you can recycle it. That's the way the faith even become you are. Your faith is fluctuating, going up and down, no problem. It is still subject to anicca or changing nature, but still your faith is undisturbed. Or you are not regretting. Simple. And sometimes the energy, that is also sometimes you can so lethargic, and so sleepy, so slimy, but even then you know it is not a permanent character. After this slimy episode, again the brightness happen, or energy happen. At that time you are using it, not worrying, not complaining about the slimy mind or distracted or energyless mind. This is reciprocal each other, so you know how to make use the energy when and where it is permit. And the mindfulness also come up to a stage, you clearly understand, when I am in that place, I am not mindful. When I am with that person, I am not mindful. When I am listening to that, I am not mindful. When I am talking to that, I am not mindful. With this time, I am not mindful. Like you see patches. You are start to see black boxes, black spots, where mindfulness is disturbed. So it is not a reason to be regret. This is the point you understand where your attention must be there. So earlier, before that mindfulness come to the power of mindfulness, you used to regret whenever you see your mistakes, whenever you to see unmindful situation. Now you find a reason to be glad, even you are unmindful, because before and after that patch you are mindful. That is a marvelous thing. That is the way positivity starts. You know at that moment I am angry, I am jealous, I am full of lust, whatever may be, and that you can isolate. Before that moment I was mindful. After the isolation and understanding, again you are mindful. So therefore before and after a defilement, you are mindful. So defilement become weaker and weaker. Mindfulness become invading, attacking from both the sides. And you see now, it is very painfully slow, but it's happening. So that is the way very beautifully Venerable Sariputta put it. As Venerable Sariputta put it in the book of discrimination, Padisambhida Magga, Pamade na kampatiti satibala. Whenever even you are not mindful or pamada, not apamada, still you are not regretting. You are learning the weak points. And not only that, you are so happy to share with other meditating people your weaknesses. So therefore meditating people become your mirror, and they will analyze it, and they also will say, if you can clearly report, yes, that is happening into me also, I thought it is something to regret. But this is not the way Venerable Sariputta is asking. So you learn. And exactly sometimes you utterly understand, you are full of scattered mind, perplexity, no concentration. But nothing to worry. You know, before and after that you are somewhat concentrated. So therefore lack of concentration also becomes your discovery, your diagnosis, and you find why it is so. You can find the cause and effect relationship, and sometimes you feel you are utter fool, idiot, don't know how to facilitate this life, but still you are the detector, you are the weakness, and your understanding very thing is the answer. And not asking second person. Of course you are sharing with, you are reading Tripitaka, all the kind of thing, but you know now you are to diagnose. Up to that point, the faith, the energy, the mindfulness, concentration and wisdom, learn how to see the absence of very thing. It's a great discovery, but still, that has not come up to the transcendental level. It is not enough you to break you off from this cycle of birth and rebirth, death and rebirth. So therefore your efficiency increasing within this worldly life, or your social, political and all the kind of thing, but still you are within the cycle. And now before it go into the Bojjhanga level, the Buddha in the Suriya Sutta he says, you must have role models, true people, noble friends, and then only that very five energies evolve into the Bojjhanga level. So they are, before you go into the Bojjhanga level, now social aspect, you are bound to see other people also practicing the same in your status, in your life or in your surrounding. And these people are not only using these faculties for worldly gain, they have their objective transcendental also. So the transcendental part is not rational. It is something going against the grain. So far also going against the grain. Now that going against the grain part become very, very prominent, that simply it is very revolutionary. It is very radical. So beyond that limit, a moralist can't go. Moralists will drop here. Or rational people will drop here. Or they may find beyond that, no faith can lead them. No rationality can lead them. So therefore, before going to the Bojjhanga level, the association with the true friend is a must. So therefore, if I am to go back to the phrase that I have quoted, so evameva ko bhikkave sattannam bojjhanganam uppadaya evam pubbangam etam pubbanimittam yadidam kalyana mittata. Before your faculties go from the secular level to the transcendental level, they should have role models, existing people in your society, in simply that is called sasana. Whenever you are in a Buddha sasana means, to go beyond that, you may have ethical support or social support in your society, in your premises. There should have some noble friends or true people. And the most miraculous thing, now only you know who is the noble person. Till that moment, you don't know the noble, ignoble. You don't know the true person and the falsified person or counterfeit. Now slowly you understand how the noble people discriminate, and they are using these very precious, valuable qualities to go against the grain. So that is kind of a filtering system. And when and where you learn, you become very, very isolated. When and where you learn, you become cornered. Because most of your friends and most of the so-called elite group, you find they are not concerned about transcendental part, but they are very efficient in secular, other kind of thing. But you also was a part and parcel and the friends and peer group. And now when you are to evolve into the Bojjhanga level or factor of enlightenment, now slowly you understand how much the mindfulness helpful to improve your secular characteristics or efficiencies and kind of thing. And that very quality will undermine you to go into the transcendental point. Unless otherwise you are very discerning, this is the part of the mindfulness in the secular part, this is the part relevant to the transcendental, and mindfulness is evolving. That is called Sati Sambojjhanga. Sati Sambojjhangang ko Kassapa Maya Thammadakkhata Bhavita Bahulikata Abhinyaya Sambodhaya Nibbanaya Sangvattati. The Buddha says, whenever Kassapa, also Kassapa, I delimited, discreetly, discriminately mention about the Sati Sambojjhanga. It is not Sati Bala, it's still refined, or Sati become Bala to Bojjhanga, and Maya Sammadakkhata, it is very difficult to draw in a blackboard or overhead projector. It is very difficult to crystallize, but I come or the other communicated to you, Maya Sammadakkhata Bhavita. Not only that I am theoretically convincing, I have practiced it. Bhavita Bahulikata, I have made it cultivated. It is definitely Abhinyaya Sambodhaya Nibbanaya. It's direct knowledge and leading to the transcendental, to the Nibbana. So therefore, you have to understand the evolution of Sati Bala into Sati Sambojjhanga. So Burmese masters, after taking the meditator, after taking the listener up to that level, it says, then only then the yogi understand what is his whole life of celibacy means. Otherwise, you may be just following because of the present day fashionist meditation. You may be following, or this and that other qualities. But to really understand the real meaning, transcendental meaning, you have to come up to the Satipatthana level, Sattva Sammappadhana level, Iddhipada level, Sati Bala, Sati Bojjang, Sati Indriya, Sati Bala, and you are definitely developing, definitely improving. But now only at the Bojjanga level only you just the separation happen, the secular part and the transcendental part. And someone to understand this and to select the transcendental part, completely electric, completely impromptu. There is no attributable single reason other than a Kalyana Mitta or a true friend. Even you can't understand why this true person or the noble person is so persistent with transcendental part. He is not behind any fame, gain, money, any kind of thing, but still he grow the mindfulness beyond the power level, Sati Bala into Sati Bojjhanga, and his thinking and his justification, his facilitating that very aspect is, for my vocabulary, unhuman. He's not expecting any kind of worldly kind of thing, but up to the Sati Bala, it is worldly you can understand, at the Bojjhanga level you understand what is the specific message of the Buddha. So this is the aspect we took 2-3 months ago, and then we went into the Dhammavichaya Sambojjhangaya, your inquiring mind, your inquisitive knowledge to facilitate to the transcendental level. And the last time we started the third Bojjhanga, Virya Sambojjhanga, the energy aspect. Just like I took time to explain the mindfulness, how it is evolving one after other, to make it more dramatic, mindfulness is evolving 8 times from the commoners level to the first Maggapala level. The aspect now we are going to talk, the Virya, evolving 9 times, 9 kinds of energies you have to learn to complete the whole journey. So therefore, at the end of the last talk, I mentioned it is one talk is not enough, so I would like to take a little more time to elaborate the aspect of energy, how to make power of energy into the energy as a factor of enlightenment. It's a very contradictory issue, because in the Western way of thinking, they try to interpret things as letting go and letting everything to happen. So much of exerting of energy, they are not much emphasizing. They say everything will happen, so therefore nothing to sit 1 hour, or nothing to renunciate and go into the forest, or nothing to have meditation centers. If we know the technique Vipassana, we can go to Nibbana. So therefore they expect some kind of quick enlightenment or easy ways, because simply they don't accept the evolution of the factor of energy in a so fast way, episode after episode. The Eastern people, the other way, they think right from the beginning to the end you have to strive. So therefore they also fail. And the Western people, right from the beginning, they are slack, lazy bones. They are not ready to exert. So we, if we are really interested in to understand, our mind also shifting sometimes to get Nibbana in very quick way, easy way, and to get golden formulas and shortcuts. And sometimes some people, maybe even in this audience, they have gained a lot of good knowledge, but still they are striving too much. So therefore, they don't know how to balance and synchronize it, because they don't know how to understand this evolution of the energy along these paths. So the Buddha himself, when he's explaining energy, usually he put into three layers: Arambha Dhatu, Nikkhama Dhatu, Parakkama Dhatu. Or sometimes Aradha Virya, Paggahita Virya, Paripunna Virya. Pali-wise is almost the same. So the beginner is Arambha Dhatu or Aradha Virya. That means the person who is living completely bogged down in the family problems and sensuous pleasure and accumulating, multiplying, for such a person to start a spiritual life is a kind of a very revolutionary thing. So therefore he or she has to completely fight as a one-man army, or like a lion. Because all the world is chasing behind the fame, gain and all the kind of thing, but that time you have to exert so much of energy, so otherwise you can't separate 1 hour a day, simply for an example. Or you can't separate out 1 hour daily, or to increase it, your closest relatives will completely protest against you. They are the bloody fools, bloody difficulties in this spiritual life. They are the people demanding and commanding you, don't do. If it is so, you will be outcasted. So therefore, in that Arambha Dhatu Virya or Aradha Virya, that particular person, the way he is striving, only the Buddha can understand, not a single commoner can understand the way one person is starting this against the grain journey. So whenever we are associating yogis or people interested in spiritual life, I have to be very, very sympathetic. Each and every person, when he is going to take this turn, is completely become isolated, outcasted. So only the people advance, go beyond that level, can sympathize them. Otherwise, the people call them as mad people, or something wrong, they are in mental situation, they will recommend to the asylum. So therefore, Arambha Dhatu Virya is a very, very demanding thing. So, for example, to give it in the micro level example, when you sit, if you are lucky enough, you will come to a place like this and you get a cushion, you get other meditating people and you sit. When you are sitting and try to focus your attention to your body, here now I am, you can see how many astray thoughts coming and distracting you whenever you are going to isolate the thought, here now I am. See exactly thing what is happening in the population. When and where you try to keep it here now I am, there's no apparent hindrance, distraction. But after sitting 5 minutes, simple 5 minutes, and see how many thought moments are jumping outside, wandering, daydreaming, fantasizing, and to keep even 1 split second, it's a miraculous. Most important thing is understanding its miraculous nature. That is the thing many are lacking. They never appreciate even 1 simple thought moment, be here and now, and due to lack of appreciation only it is running out. If you know how to appreciate it, or to, in a simple language, to take this as your kamatahana, no one is happy. Everyone thinks there should have a magical formula. Everyone should have external objects or some kind of a thing to keep keep that as a meditation object. You're just keeping your own body. No one accepts it as something spiritual. Never accept someone as it is religious. So therefore, keeping is not the important, but the difficult thing, appreciation. And the third aspect is, if someone to take the mind here and now, here now I am, and appreciate it and to report it, you must give 100% marks. No one is ready to report. They are reporting, my mind is going outside, disturbance are there in the sounds, thoughts are disturbing, pains are disturbing, you are always talking bloody nonsense. No one reported. After so much of journey, one day I sit, I tried, my mind came here and now. I am very happy, Bhante, to report 1 split second I was here and now. Then you all are in the very, very appreciable state. No one is reporting. I am listening to this about 30 years now. Everyone's a masters to talk about wandering thoughts, daydreaming, fantasizing, number of pages you have lost, number of ink you have lost, number of letters you have lost, number of thought moments you have lost. Enormous. But it is not a punishable mistake. It is just like learning a second language. Very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. So what you have to do is, take it to your heart. Understand, when you are reporting, report positive side or correcting. After so much of journey in the midst of sensual and sexual thing, now you are here, now I am. And then you will find that it is not so rare to keep here and now. I mean, within 5 minutes, if you note at least one noting per 1 second. See, I am here, or sitting, or being. And let alone all the other go astray. For 1 minute meditation means 6 times, 60 times you can be here, now I am. 5 minutes, 300 times you can be here, now I am. And if the day you report it, the simple instruction for meditation is, can you make it 301? Can you make it 302 for 5 minutes? Finished. But the thing is, no one appreciating it. So that is why it says, the energy aspect for that is very, very relevant. At the beginning, you have to have so much of noting. I would like to reduce the whole story of energy to noting or vitakka. So whenever you find mind is going up and down and astray and daydreaming, fantasizing, just keep on noting, I am sitting here, or here, sitting or being. Or if you are taking in-breath and out-breath, not in-breath as in-breath, out-breath as out-breath. So it is demanding, it is commanding. So therefore at the beginning, just like parrots, it is being instructing again and again, not. So whenever you become successful, you get more and more thought moments face to face with. Because this noting is somewhat isolating yourself and delimiting yourself to be with your primary object face to face, avenued more and more chances. That's a universal theory. So you don't do it because you think you are not at the Montessori level. You think you have to go for quick methods, golden formulas, shortcuts. So by seeking shortcut, or in the jokes it says, your shortcut is little longer than the normal cut. So when we are doing, I went creeper level training as a estate manager. So when we are doing in the rubber estate and tea estates, the roads are very winding. So often we have to find shortcuts to run, it's very steep. So when you are going, everyone can help other person, there is a shortcut there. So usually we say this is the shortcut, but it's a little longer than the normal cut. So always people searching shortcut, they get trapped. I mean, no harm, but you have to understand this urge that to run quickly and asking accelerated this thing, going against the energy because you are so lazy, lethargic, lazy bones. No other reason. A simple note. One day imagine you can see due to the amount of the noting, you can be face to face with the object. It's a great achievement. And ultimately you may find notings per one object or notings per object or notings per 1 minute, even reduced object will be face to face. This is the way you develop skillfulness and maturity or seasoning. When it's happening, whenever the Arambha Dhatu energy or the launching kind of energy, starting kind of energy to mature, you may see by yourself the very object you keep face to face, you can keep without noting. That's a kind of a episode, that's a kind of a under the nose experience in noting. And when it is happening, now your energy is going to mature from Arambha Dhatu to Nikkama Dhatu, or launching kind of energy to the sustaining kind of energy. So when it happens, you must just let the object to run without much of noting. And whenever if you need, again you are ready to note. Again, whenever it is ready to run, you are ready to leave aside and run the object without noting. So that change, very difficult to write as a technical note. When and where object tamed, object face to face, just do without noting. But don't throw away the technique of noting. Whenever object become adamant, again you have to note. So that level, very difficult, unless otherwise you have a close association with a true person or noble friend. He will say again and again without tiring, this is the only technique to change from Arambha Dhatu Virya or launching kind of or inaugural kind of energy to come into the sustaining kind. So you just let it happen. Just like when you are raising a child, at the beginning you have to do spoon feeding. And whenever the child is becoming little bigger, you can let the food for that child to take it and put it on his own mouth. And you can see disorganized way he is putting the thing into the mouth. So you have to still have a vigilance, but let the child to play. Earlier you used to do spoon feeding. But whenever child becomes sick, again you have to do it. But if the child is ready, you have to let go. So you may be laughing at, but anyway, when we go to the toilet, earlier mother has to wash the backside. We go to toilet and come back and report to the mother and she has to wash it. And she make a fairly warm water and wash it. And after a while, whenever we become mature, mother will say, you wash, I will pour water. And then we have to wash it and mother will pour, is it okay? Okay. And then wash your hand. And next time they take a bucket of water, go and wash yourself and pour yourself. And the mother is at the observance. And later, he says, okay, you can take a bucket to the toilet and finish it and come. Exactly the way, whenever the child is ready, present-day mothers are so fools. They don't know how to give the responsibility to the children. And they are always keep the children in the incubator, giving all the facilities. They don't learn the skill. But they are learning one skill. That is to hate the mother. That's invariable. Exactly the same, when the object is ready to face it face, let it run without noting. Understand that is a kind of energy, but it's a reduction of energy. That is the contradictory thing. You are advancing, but you get the job done with a little bit of energy. And later, when you come to the Bojjhanga level, Paripurna Virya, you learn more energy, more food. Less energy, you are so skillful, you put autopilot. Everything happening, a full vigilance. So that is the kind of energy you learn. Even then, Even at the Bojjhanga level, right from the beginning, like a beginner's mind, you start with Arambhadhatu Virya or inaugural kind, and quickly mind will learn how to keep the face-to-face with the object, and then do away with noting, and again let everything happen. So you learn how the object is evolving. The simple remark is, as far as you are noting, your mind is occupied in noting, you can't see the evolution of the object. So you have to give up noting and reserve energy. With that additional energy, you focus and see the evolution. So therefore, that withdrawal of energy is called Paripunna Virya. That means you know the relationship with the object and the mind, and when it is happening at the beginning, you facilitate it, let the thing happen. Ultimately, you put into the autopiloting, and you see the more and more mindfulness is steadfast. You can see tiny, very subtle changes and the characteristics of shapes and the manner of the object at that level, because you are completely at a distance and objects are performing its own play, and you get there only you can see the beginning, the middle, the end of the object, because you are completely reserved with so much of energy. At that level, the meditation is just a hobby. It is not regimentation. It is not striving. It is not chasing behind. So just like after a full fight, you get the heart of the girlfriend. At the beginning, you have to spend so much for chocolates and handkerchiefs and every kind of thing. But once she gives the consent, then onward, not much of money for chocolates, not much of money for handkerchiefs. So you can suggest to go to the park and the film and everything happen. But till that, don't do it. That is the mistake I did. That is why I am still a bachelor. So I tried all the kind of things throughout. Not working. So don't follow me where you have not, already not. So therefore in meditation, till you get the consent, till you get the object into your mastery, into your seasoning, do any kind of trick, anything valid. There should have a consent. More and more consent it happens. But happens that you can do the same thing without much of exerting energy. So therefore energy is negatively related to the progress. More you progress, you are exerting less and less energy. So that is the very difficult thing someone to understand. The moralists never release. They keep on tightening. So self-torturing. And if you right from the beginning, if you are not going to exert, object will not become face-to-face with. Never get aligned with. So each day you have to start like a beginner. And accordingly, the way the object behaves, the way the object evolves, the way the object metamorphosizes, you have to use amount of energy. That is exactly when you start a car. At the beginning you have to run with heavy gears, but whenever the momentum starts, in order to save gears, you have to go for higher gears. But mind you, don't remove the gearbox. Sometimes you have to go for the higher gears. Whenever load is there up mountain, you go for the higher gears, but whenever the engine gives the proper sound, you go for the lighter gear. So this changing gear, very difficult to write technical notes. So therefore that you have to do with trial and error. Only the Kalyana Mitta or the really practicing person or advanced person can help guide the other person, but the other person who is practitioner or the beginner has to report sharp to the point, short to the point, no nonsense. If his reporting is with so much of nonsense, very difficult to trace back to that point and go into it. So therefore, there should have sometimes many complain, it must be personal touch. That's a very luxurious, very difficult to get the personal touch. So you can replace that personal touch by proper reporting. So therefore you have to, in the if I am to summarize, to be a beginner's mind, to understand the evolution of energy, and you have to have another advanced yogi to share with you, and your expressibility, your communication is very important. Therefore, don't think meditation is a personal, internal thing. It is totality. It is totality, your relationship with the society, your grammar, your presentation, your sharpness, and understanding the evolution, not only the object, evolution of the matter of energy or virya. So when it happens, see the culture, see the training, see the evolution that particular person is going through. So when it happens, you see the Buddha is training ourselves or mending ourselves in such a way, as far as you have that faith, as far as you have this applicability, there is a consistency, no end. So therefore, recognize yourself as a positive candidate and understand early part is a secular, that skillfulness has to come one day, that secular thing will change into the transcendental point, and that is the point where Bojjhanga come into being. I hope with the last talk and this one, you will get more ideas about the how to apply the energy, and then how to be skillful in using energy as you advance, and the day you will understand, you feel like sharing it with others. You feel like sharing with others because you can see others are really, really desperately waiting at the communication problem. So therefore, don't consider it as a private affair or private business. Soon you come up to that level in a humble way, share with others. That is the way all the 2,600 years came up to our generation. So leaving that responsibility upon the shoulders of each and everyone, I would like to sum up today's talk. Thank you very much for listening. So if I am to go back to the timetable, Venerable Chandaratana will take time to translate it into the Sinhala listeners, and meanwhile others can take walking meditation if they wish. And then after that, there will be a question and answer session in English. Venerable Chandaratna will take. I hope you will allow me to leave you. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. I will take leave.